My name's Constable Clay Scolding with the K9 unit, deployed to help out on the Parker search. This is Bill. We have Bill and Quinn and Goose. This dog and the two other dogs have been tasked with searching the areas last known since Thursday evening. All three dogs combined yesterday did about, I want to say, 16 kilometers worth of searching. There's often times when we'll deploy one dog with three handlers and we'll bounce them in between us so we can search a much larger area at a quicker pace. So we were attached to a search team that was assigned to look in the backs of yards, front yards, side yards, nothing for inside houses, but detached buildings. As a more experienced dog, you might see them go about an hour-long search before we switch them out, depending on heat and all that kind of stuff. We've never been told we have a limit. It's whatever the file demands out of it. Meanwhile, we have to ensure the dogs are safe, that they're not getting hurt and have the proper care.
Welcome in, everyone. I just thought I'd play that to start with. I was just looking on Facebook to see if there were any updates, any positive updates on Parker, and I came across that video, so I wanted to share it. And I have to say, that dog reminds me of Michelle Lowe's dog, one of Michelle Lowe's dogs on Michelle After Dark. I reckon her dogs would find Parker. She's such a good dog trainer, like incredible. Okay, so I do want to start with an update on Parker. Unfortunately, there's nothing positive as yet. And it's, you know, becoming more and more alarming given that we're on to day 7. We've just had day 7, I think. So, poor little man, I really worry. I hope they can find him. Anyway, jump onto that first. They've now put out a map which shows his movements. We have... No, you're not late, little back bear. I was actually late starting. I only just hit live about 2 minutes ago. All I've done so far is look at the search log and just starting to look at this map for Parker. So what have we got? We've got a confirmed route and a double back route. So he does definitely seem to have ended up in one particular area. And for some reason, that seems to be he's got to be in that area, surely. He's got to be in that area. Because he's been very direct with his route at first. And then he's gotten to that one area and just doubled back. So I hope they can find him. There's a lot of houses, a lot of small spaces that a young boy could squeeze into there. Did I say Daniel Parker? Oh, gosh. Parker Wells. Sorry. I didn't get a lot of sleep again last night. Had that whole 5 a.m. wake up thing with my neighbour running their car in the driveway and me waking up thinking what the hell's happening. The green areas, I wish I could zoom in. There's a lot of... that's a good question. There seems to be a lot of grassland around there. But other than that, I'm really not sure. And I don't know how to zoom in on StreamYard. So there is a river that runs through. I don't think there's any lakes, but there's a river that runs right through. It is. It is so hard to keep track. I wish there weren't so many coming up at the moment. It seems like every time you turn around, there's another missing child or another child that something's happened to. It's so disturbing. Anyway, I've got a few news stories for today for Parker. I'm trying to remember which one's the right one. The only problem with StreamYard is you can't actually see time-wise which one is the shortest one, and I know which one is first. Anyway, 2 news stories I've got for Parker. Not really huge updates, but it's something.
And still no sign of Parker Wells. The autistic boy walked away from his day home last Thursday in the north.
So to clarify, this is yesterday's update, and then there's a shorter one that's today's update. But there's information in this one that isn't included in the second one.
Northwest. Police are now releasing a map of the presumed path he may have taken before he vanished. Tyson joins us from Thorncliffe tonight. Tyson, volunteers continue to come out in droves. This is all in an effort to find Parker.
Yeah, Tara, they have been coming in droves over the last hour or so as many have finished work and are looking to use the rest of the daylight today to find Parker this evening. They'll have a better idea of exactly where he may have been or was headed to just last Thursday. As you mentioned, police releasing a map of his whereabouts, spending much of Thursday's afternoon trek that he was on along Northbound Drive and 56th Avenue.
It's a clearer picture of the route Parker Wells may have taken Thursday when he vanished from his Cambrian Heights day home and later spotted in Thorncliffe. Police believe he walked along Northmount Road into Thorncliffe, where he doubled back several times and was last seen on CCTV on Travis Crescent.
Like everywhere I look, there's something about him. People are really trying to know who he is. I'm like getting goosebumps. People are trying to know who he is and kind of like really see the world from his perspective.
Parker's day home, operated by Supportive Lifestyles and Responsive Children's Supports, was playing loud Disney songs as that was something he enjoyed listening to.
Take you wonder by wonder.
The company also released a statement Tuesday about his disappearance, saying in part Parker was in their care before he made a sudden exit from the property and 911 was called. Staff followed company policy and immediately went to try and locate him.
My grandfather went missing in 2012 from Bowness in Calgary, and I can't express how much it meant to have the community all come together to help the family. Some of these people have been doing this for the past 6 days, looking for this kid, and it's just really heartwarming to see in a really devastating situation.
As the search is on day 6, the likelihood of survival if he is in the outdoors slowly diminishes.
One of the things that we see as pediatricians is how resilient the body can be. Anything more than a week to 10 days, I would say, makes one extremely worried about things like dehydration and overall safety.
Last year, RCMP called off a search after 11 days for Darius McDougall, who was reported missing in the Crow's Nest Pass and is now presumed dead. A Quebec girl was found in an Ontario ditch last summer, surviving without food or water for 4 days.
If you can get around with no food, that's possible, but water is a critical thing. We're looking at things like dehydration.
Police were also seen on horseback at Nose Hill Park on Tuesday looking for any signs of the boy, who is nonverbal and functions at the level of a toddler.
Tyson's back now. Tyson, police also announced today there have been vigilante efforts, which they say is just unacceptable.
Tara, police putting out several warnings this afternoon on social media saying that they've become aware of people confronting residents at their doors and asking them and encouraging them to investigate some criminal tips in the area. Now, police saying this behavior is unacceptable. It hinders its efforts and takes away resources from the actual search for Parker in this case. And are asking all who are engaging in this to stop at this time. Police are also warning about a donation scam. A fraudulent GoFundMe page was set up in Parker's name to help with this case. His family today saying through police that GoFundMe has nothing to do with their family. Tara?
Okay, Tyson, thank you.
Honestly, people really are the scum of the earth. There are some disgusting people out there. Why I understand everyone's desperate to find this little fella, but to start doing things like that, it's ridiculous. And I'm so over seeing every time there's a case, there's a fraudulent GoFundMe pops up. How did people sleep at night? Like, how can you possibly exploit a missing children's case doing something like that? It's just maddening. Going back to the Claire Bell case, where they're saying, well, she survived in a ditch for 4 days last summer. I think one huge difference there was that she was out in the open. So I'm really hoping that wherever Parker is, that he's somewhere that maybe, he's not exposed to the elements, and maybe that's going to help him hang on a bit longer. But, dehydration is a huge concern when we're, 7 days in. It's alarming. And again, I still worry when I think about the Michael Vaughan case, because they had no idea where Michael Vaughan got to. And it took so long before they nailed Casey Wanderer and that. So I'm just hoping that no one has taken advantage of the situation. Because that's always something that comes to mind for me. Although at least they are saying there's no evidence of anything like that. There's no evidence that anyone has taken Parker. So that's a plus. And they're looking through so much CCTV footage. But even still, Nose Hill Park, I'm just wondering if that's the one with all the goats in it, because I had a message the other day that was showing me there's a park that they've put goats in it for about 6 weeks to just eat all the grass down, and that searchers weren't allowed in there to search. So I'm wondering if where they're searching in there, I'm wondering if that's where the goats are. Because it's good if they are searching in there and that's the goat place. Anyway, one more update. This is from this morning, so it's like day 7.
Afternoon. The search for Parker Wells is now entering its 7th day, with police releasing a map of the route they believe he may have taken. We're also hearing from the agency operating the day home Parker left last Thursday. Mason DePatie joins us with the latest.
This map gives us the clearest picture yet of where Parker could have gone before he disappeared. Police say he left his day home in Cambrian Heights before traveling down Northmount Drive into Thorncliffe. From there, he appears to have doubled back several times before a camera captured him along Travis Crescent northeast. Police stress this is a presumed route based on the information and video they've collected. They're hoping it may help someone remember seeing Parker. The 11-year-old is autistic and nonverbal and was not wearing a shirt or shoes when he disappeared. Search teams have now covered thousands of kilometers, reviewed hundreds of hours of video, and followed up on about 200 tips. Crews were seen searching Nose Hill Park on horseback yesterday, while police and volunteers continued checking areas across North Calgary. We're also now hearing from Supportive Lifestyles. That's the agency operating the day home that Parker had in his care. In a statement, the company says Parker made a sudden exit from the property. 911 was called, and staff immediately tried to find him in accordance with company policy. With the search now on day 7, the likelihood of survival, if he isn't outdoors, slowly diminishes.
One of the things that we see as pediatricians is how resilient.
I won't replay that guy. I thought, I'm just going to see if I can find the first lot of footage. I thought he was wearing shoes. Just bring this up. Yeah, I'll tell you about that company in a moment. He's wearing shoes. Why are they saying he wasn't wearing shoes? Good to see you in here, Bonza. Tell me I'm not hallucinating. We've got the zoomed in one in a second. I think I did the double whammy here. Why are they saying he wasn't wearing shoes when he went missing? Because he's definitely wearing shoes. Unless they mean he took his shoes off, because exactly. Yep. The police report says he's wearing the, and I've got that poster too. Hang on. Oh wow, the wind's coming up. Sorry, just had a bunch of leaves try to come through the window then. Okay, poster. Here we go. Slowly. Last seen wearing grey shorts, black noise-cancelling headphones, black Skechers, and shirtless. Like, black shoes are black Skechers. And all they've got is clothing found Northmount Drive. So why are they reporting that he has no shoes? The company's like, oh, he left suddenly and we followed protocols. They have a 40 to 45 minute gap. Yeah, it's okay, Mira. They did not see him exit. Because otherwise we wouldn't be told this 45 minute gap. Yeah, I hope they haven't found his shoes. That's a good question. Is that an affluent area? That's a very, very good question. I hope that company has inside camera footage, because I really hope that there is going to be an investigation into what happened, how he got out. Because now that they're coming out and outright lying and trying to make it sound that, oh, you know, they're trying to make it sound like they saw him leave, which is BS. They didn't even notice he was gone for 40 minutes. I did a bit of research on the company. There's nothing recent that I've come across, but there was a case, I think going back to like 2016 or something, of a carer in one of their homes who had ended up, like, one of the people in their care ended up with scald burns and actually died from their burns. And there was, you know, an inquiry about it, and things were made that had to be changed. Yep, I do too. Because something was not followed, some protocols weren't followed, something was done wrong for this child to get out. And for them, it's private. It's always the private ones that seem to fall short. Well, not always, but quite often it's the private ones that fall short, because, you know, they don't have to necessarily answer to a government minister or anything like that. They don't have necessarily the same protocols that are put with government-funded agencies. That's a good question. I really hope that they've checked. But I just think, for me, I'm still struggling with this agency. That's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to pretend they were didn't do anything wrong. Yes, presumably. Although I don't know if they have, like here in Australia, some day carers get government funding to subsidise. So it could just be that it gets government funding, but it's privately run. But you would think they're probably paying quite a bit. I can't even comprehend what his parents must be going through at the moment. It must be an absolute nightmare for them. Like, not knowing where he is and just the whole concern over if he's safe. And it's been a few warm days. There's no way a boy should be able to just walk off out of one of these homes. Definitely something is wrong. There are either protocols that haven't been followed or security measures that have not been adequately put in place. And I mean, let's face it, had they seen him head off, you have a boy that's walking. You have how many workers? If you saw him heading out, if you truly saw him leaving as they are claiming, you have options. You have adults who could probably go as fast on foot, if not faster. You have adults who probably have their own vehicles there who could have followed him in a vehicle and kept tabs on him. But they couldn't do that because it took them 40 minutes to realise he was gone. It even says in the poster, last seen between 11:08, also 30 minutes, last seen between 11:08 and 11:41. I think I can't help wondering if this is another situation of an agency getting greedy, keeping staff numbers down and bringing in too many clients. Because you have a boy who is non-verbal, severely autistic, who appears to have been left unsupervised. I would imagine that if that were a government agency, there would be a mandatory staffing ratio. So that would have to be the first question for me. What is their staffing ratio? Exactly. Not only do you expect your child to be properly cared for, but you believe that your child is going to be properly cared for and that your child is going to be safe. It never would cross your mind that you drop your child off and you don't see them again after that. Yep, that is a huge question that needs to be asked. what is the carer to patient ratio? Because when you have a high needs child like Parker, then staff who were supervising him shouldn't be responsible for more than 2 or 3 children at a time. Even 3 is stretching it, if you ask me. And I wonder if, in fact, even 2 is too much. Because for him to just hightail it out of there, clearly no one was paying attention to him. It's so concerning. Yeah. I do wonder if they were getting money from the province to fund it. It's easier for private organisations to cut corners. And if you're running a private organisation and you're wanting to cut corners, the first thing you're going to do is have in more clients than you can manage. The doors should be not just monitored at all times, but in this day and age, they should have a pin pad on them, shouldn't they? Like, not just for the safety of the children, like to prevent them getting out, but also because you just don't know what weirdos are out there. Let's hope it's not one carer per 5 kids, because oh, thank you, Strawberry Wine. You manage homes in Nova Scotia and Alberta. You can say there was likely 2 staff to 5 or 6 people. See, that doesn't sound too unreasonable. Depending on the needs. Because when you're looking at children with disabilities, they have higher needs. Oh, true. Someone actually sent me stuff about that about 6 months ago. And there definitely are. There are religious organisations that run these homes. I'm not saying this one is, but there are that use it for tax breaks. That's the thing. I looked up these homes. Supported lifestyles are specifically for disability support. Meaning they should have adequate protocols in place, adequate staffing in place to accommodate the fact that they are working with children or adults with disabilities. So yeah, that's when you start to have problems. It should be when you consider the care needs of children with disabilities. then at the very least, the building should be set up in a way so that if someone is giving a person a bath or, cleaning them up after an accident, that you can't have one of their clients do a runner. 100%. Every way that it is possible for a child to exit the building should have a keypad. Not only that, when I was looking at the video footage that they were showing, the fence around the play yard is just one of those mesh fences with the sort of diamond things in them. If you're a 10-year-old boy with little feet and you're agile, you could climb up and over that fence really easily. Welcome in, Ernestine. Oh, it's good to know Charmaine's live, or was live. Good to know. So, right there too, that fencing is a concern because it should have like an inside standoff. I hope that they are going to do a really thorough investigation into this home and into every other home run by this agency. But, short term, I just hope they can find Parker. I'm still working behind the scenes on trying to put together a change.org thing to try and get a better alert system. And it seems like people are saying they want it across Canada, not just in Alberta, like not just in Ontario or anywhere. So I've been doing the research and stuff for that sort of thing. But honestly, I really hope that there is a really, really close look at this home. So it's a private home, private agency. Whether they get any additional funding from the government, I don't know. But it certainly raises questions, that's for sure. Now, I'm going to move on to Jack and Lily in just a moment. I do want to give you an update. I will be putting out an update, hopefully later today, on some of the Australian cases that I'm covering. That's the thing. I was surprised when I saw that footage, and it was like, it just looks like a residential home with a high fence. Like, I've seen kids Parker's age climb fences bigger than that one. They really need to look at how they run their homes. They need to look much closer. Okay, so I will be working on an update for Layla Jeffries. I've been just looking up all the legal stuff with that. Sorry, just checking to see if Amira wants to go out or if she's just getting a drink. I will also be doing an update on Sally Contarino, which there isn't much update to do, but it's a slightly delayed one, still nothing that we know of. They have an Amber Alert, but they don't seem to have, not every province seems to have the Vulnerable Missing Persons Alert like Nova Scotia does. I don't know, 2 hours. Honestly, the water's obviously cold because it's in the colder part of the kitchen. So now she's snorting. They have amber alerts. They've got the same sort of strict criteria for amber alerts, but they don't seem to have anything like a vulnerable missing persons alert that they can use when it's not possible to put out an amber alert. That's my understanding. From the research I've done, it does not appear that they have the same sort of systems that exist in Nova Scotia, for example. Yes, and that's another good point. Buzzers on the doors. Not just keypads, but buzzers on the doors so that you hear. I hope that that there are cameras that the police are viewing from the home. Yeah. Yep. I think biggest problem is funding. They realize that the old style organizations for children and adults with disabilities were not so great. But what they did across the board was just eliminate everything. And here in Australia, they've just put them into mainstream schooling with inadequate funding for staffing. It's, I don't know, the system just needs to be looked at again, in my opinion. It just feels like they've failed him here. They've definitely failed him. Anyway, I'm not going to allow my squirrels to let me get too distracted here. With the Layla Jeffries case and Sally Contarino, I will do a video later on today. There's also another person missing that I haven't had a chance to cover. And there's a familial abduction that I'm going to make mention of because I've noticed that a lot of people, a lot of Australians in Facebook are downplaying it and going, well, why do we need to worry about it? Because it's only a familial abduction. And my answer to that is Travis Decker. Yeah, that's the problem. Some staff just go there, they go through the motions and then they go home. Bear with me for just a moment. Amira! I'm not sure if she went out towards the back door. I'm just going to put on just a clip for a minute while I think Amira needs to go out. I heard her go through, but I didn't see if she went back through. I didn't see which way she went. And if she's waiting by the back door, she's waiting for me. So I'll be back in half a moment.
So tall, the cars are parked and watching me, they all they speed away when I step out the door. They take my pics and videos galore. Drones are buzzing high above. keep up. They chase me through the wasted flush. Every night it's all the same. Do they even know my name? It's like Christmas up in the sky, lights of every color shining bright. They fought to watch me every night, hoping for a glimpse or a fight. In my mind the drones are friends, red and white and blue they blend, watching out to keep me safe. But who's behind this endless chase? It's like Christmas in the sky, lights of every color burning bright. They fight to watch me every night, hoping for a glimpse of fire.
Okay, I'm back. And no, Amira was actually headed back to the heater in the hallway. Also, who else did I see just came in? Maymar, welcome in. Good to see you. Oh, that just cracks me up. Who knows? Oh, I needed that laugh just then. Can you picture it? Can you imagine it? That's so hilarious. Well, that's interesting to know. I was wondering what the sort of percentage was, because you often see, you know, just statistics like, you know, well, there's been this many Amber Alerts and this many children recovered because of Amber Alerts, but they never really clarify what's what. Welcome in, Artemisa. Good to see you here. We've got our first like intrusive alert practice thing happening, I think on Monday next week. And I'm just dreading it because my dog Taka does not cope with loud noise. And there's all this confusion. Like they say, if you want to avoid it, you've got to turn your phone off for 24 hours. And I'm like, what the heck? I can't do that. Other people are like, well, you just turn your phone off. But I hope they clarify it, because I have a 30-kilo dog who, when she panics, causes destruction trying to hide in small places where she doesn't fit. So, yeah, disturbing. Now, I am getting back to... yeah, make one for me too, please. I am getting back to straight to Lily and Jack. But I want to bring this up. I was watching Justin's live briefly yesterday. Don't get a lot of time to watch other people's lives, but as you probably realise, I was desperate for a sleep in yesterday morning, so I just took the day off pretty much. So I did get a chance to watch a bit of Justin's live. There's two bits here that I'm going to play, and I'll discuss them as I go.
About the Jack and Lily Sullivan case out of Pictou County, Nova Scotia. And to be honest with you, I wasn't planning on even going live on Jack and Lily today, but I had a dream about them last night. And they've just been really on my heart today. Jack and Lily is a special case for me, I guess you could say. And there just hasn't been a lot of chatter with Jack and Lily. You know, we've been covering a lot of other cases, and I'm going to get choked up. I don't even want to get choked up.
Just going to pause there. These are the content creators that we need to be supporting. The ones that are truly in it for the right reasons. Justin wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's got so much empathy. And it's so clear when I watch his content that he's doing it for the right reasons. He's doing it because he's passionate and he truly cares. And I just wanted to highlight this because now I know that if you're here watching my content, then you probably are someone who is watching the channels that are doing it for the right reason. But it was just a reminder for me yesterday of why many of us are here. Now I didn't actually I meant to go back and listen to some more. I didn't actually get to hear what his dream was. But honestly, if you do need to write it down, especially when you're so heavily emotionally invested in a case, because you just never know. But I just, huge shout out to Justin. I think he's one of the good guys. He's there for the right reasons. And I'm so grateful that he does keep coming back to Lily and Jack's case, because so often with the big channels like his, where you get heaps of subscribers, heaps of viewers, the temptation is there to just focus on the cases that are bringing in the most viewers. Just focus on the current cases. But Justin still goes back to Summer Wells. He still goes back to Sebastian. He still goes back to Lily and Jack. Like, he doesn't just cover a case at the beginning and then move on. And I think that's the sort of supporters that we need to... That's the supporters that we need. Sorry. That's the content creators we need to support. Oh, Hot Milo would be divine. Yeah, Justin is one of a kind. I've not met Remy, not seen Remy. I seem to be not watching at the right times. But like I said, it's hard when you do your own content to try and keep up with other content creators. Oh, welcome in, Camilla. Good to know that you're here, even though I can't see you. BTTV suggested that maybe I'd somehow hidden a comment of yours or something on StreamYard, and maybe StreamYard had blocked you. And I checked StreamYard. There's no one blocked in StreamYard. And I can see your comments when you comment on a video. So I just don't know what the deal is there. Do you not have a emoji of mouse? Emoji? Oh, and a emoji. I could probably do one. I could certainly do one of mouse and one of Amira snoring and one of Taka taking over my desk. Because when Taka puts herself somewhere, you can't move her. She's way too big. Now, the second half is just me having a dig.
So we're going to cover them and keep their name out today. It's really important, in my opinion, right now, for the Jack and Lily case, because it's not out there. This is a aging case, sadly, but it's not going cold. It's not going cold. That is one thing that it is not. It's not going cold. But we still got to keep their name out there in the algorithm. It's very important. Tonight we're talking about...
So, yeah, Justin, I know you don't watch my content, but just hypothetically, if you did, it's still out there. Some of us do still cover Lily and Jack several times a week. Anyway, I just thought I'd have a dig at him there because he makes it sound like nobody's covering Lily and Jack anymore. And I'm, most days a week, my live streams are Lily and Jack. And I do attempt, if I'm not doing a Lily and Jack live stream, to do a shorter video and get that out. But anyway, still love Justin. Just wanted to have a bit of a dig at him. Okay, hide that comment. Yeah, exactly. If I'd blocked her, you wouldn't be able to see her. It's just some weird glitch, StreamYard glitch, or I have no idea how it works, why it happens. I don't know. I wish I could figure it out because I like to be able to greet people when they come in. I like to be able to acknowledge people when they're in here. Welcome in, Pinky. Good to see you. I'm pretty certain now. I didn't crawl out of bed till really late yesterday morning, and I think by the time I crawled out of bed, most of the live streams had finished. But yeah, I'm pretty certain Charmaine was actually live yesterday. And I believe that she was live this morning. Hidden in the Fog has been pumping them out. I noticed she started putting out a few more of the short format videos for this case. So there's 3 content creators who are in it for the right reasons and putting out the content still. Haven't seen Sunny, but then I forget to look. Yeah, same happens with Grover. Grover's been absent for a few days. I hope Grover's still around somewhere. Although, I didn't do a live stream yesterday, so that probably also plays into that. Yeah, it's really hard to coordinate doing a live stream with someone from over the other side of the world because this time of year, being winter, I struggled to get out of bed early. It was 5 degrees when I got up this morning. I only turned the heating up again an hour or so before I get up. So, I get up and I'll take the dogs out and then I go back to bed for another hour or so. So I think it's just too hard to figure out time differences and stuff. And yeah, I thought Charmaine was live this morning. I think someone was live very, very early, either yesterday morning or this morning. I can't remember which. And I think that was Charmaine. So we are still out here. There are those of us who are still covering Lily and Jack's case, still talking about Lily and Jack. So, yeah, Justin might want to actually get with the program. But, that said, oh, cool. I was wondering what was going on there. So Sunny's working nights at the moment. That explains it. I do recall the last live stream that she did. She mentioned something about working nights. I'd forgotten about that. Okay, back to Lily and Jack. So for now, I have just kind of put aside the Logan audio because I just don't want to listen to the part when she calls them animals. I just don't want to go down that track because it does my head in when someone calls the way she spoke about them. I originally said that in terms of Daniel on Sunny's show, that I didn't want to tackle it because he just sounds so arrogant and so cocky. But I think the only way I really process what they're saying when they do these, panel things is if I do go over it slowly on a live stream with input from everyone else. So I am going to work through the Daniel audio from Sunny's channel. Thank you, Pinky. Very much appreciated. Always appreciative. Okay, so let's have... Yeah. There's a lot of things that annoy me. A lot of things that annoy me. I just wish we could actually get some answers, some real answers. Frustrating, the amount of lies that we just seem to get. Anyway, jump into this because it's taken me an hour to get this far. So,
welcome to the live. I didn't realize you were watching. Actually, I wasn't even thinking about it. But anyways, thanks for joining Charmaine the other day on her live. Regardless, right? There's just opinions out there. I know that a lot's been said in a year for sure and stuff like that. But anyways, thanks for coming up.
I have no problem doing that. And I always thank Charmaine for, having me up. And I knew for the 1 year that there would be nobody that spoke out. I mean, Belinda's done her part in a massive way. Yeah. And I always, thanked Belinda any chance I got because I knew she was the only one that ever spoke out for Lily and Jack.
The way he speaks here does my head in. It's like he thinks he's someone special. Oh, I'm just so grateful that you're letting me talk. I'm just so special. I'm so important. And then the constant, I'm the only one that's talking out. Oh, well, there's Belinda, but he throws Belinda in as an add-on every time. But the way he does it shows that he doesn't value it. He doesn't, in his mind, he's way more important than Belinda. He does my head in. It really does my head in. The whole first part of this discussion is him trying to put himself up on a pedestal, him trying to downplay what Belinda has done, and trying to throw Malaya under the bus. Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't seen one. I'd be interested to know if they have confirmed that it was Malaya's car that was taken on the Thursday. Because if they collect the plates on the Wednesday, and we've seen those images now from the news footage where there's no plates on the back of that car, then I would really like to know if it was the car that they took on the Thursday. Oh, yeah, it is. But it comes across as so not genuine. Like, I'm not sure if it was in this one, and we might get to it soon, or in Charmaine's, where he's like, he comes out with this statement that completely craps on Belinda's involvement. Yeah. Yeah, all the time. Poor little munchkin. That's honestly, these little ones deserved so much better than what they got. Canadian Gothic has more info. Okay, thanks for that. Welcome in, Lizette. Yep, and we've confirmed that he did take Malaya's car out on that morning because I showed 2 images the other day from news media. And one of those images was of the car parked at the marsh with no plates on the back. What we're discussing is if they took the car on Thursday when they went into town, because according to the documents, she got the plates for the vehicle on Wednesday, which means that if they got the plates on Wednesday and they went into town on Thursday as well, they went into town with no plates because the plates weren't on the vehicle Friday morning. He pushes it too much. He overemphasizes it. Not only that, but after they call off the search and you have that news footage of them walking into the house with the detectives, then suddenly you've got that black car in the driveway, that black Subaru. And no, the black Subaru isn't Justin's Subaru because his is blue and I've got pictures of it. Oh, okay, so it's possible, right, so it's possible that they had a big yellow piece of paper in the window as opposed to the physical plates. So that's trippy. That's trippy. Here, you cannot drive a vehicle on the road without plates. If you need to get plates for your vehicle, they get given to you then and there on the spot. So when my old car that I had when I transferred the rego to Victorian registration, I basically went in, gave them my old plates, and they gave me plates there. So Roads and Transport have a stack of new plates, and they basically just allocate, here's your plate, and then it gets allocated to your vehicle. So it does my head in. And that's why it just seemed odd to me seeing this vehicle with no plates on it. Got the footage of Daniel about to say blue or black. I'm not sure what that is. You have to fill me in later.
I mean, Kent has done some. We heard Kent at the vigil. But I mean, in general, for everyone that's close to the kids, no one's been speaking out.
Total gaslighting. Like, oh yeah, I better say Belinda because everyone loves Belinda. And I'm going to mention Kent because people will mention that he's done stuff at the vigil. But, you know, in general, for everyone that's close to the kids, no one's been speaking out. Translation there is, in his mind, Belinda's not close to the kids. Like, hello, she's their grandmother. It doesn't matter if she didn't see them for 2 years because Daniel is an arsehole and wouldn't let Malaya take the kids to see their grandmother. The fact of the matter is that Belinda cares far more for Lily and Jack than Daniel could even pretend to care. So this gaslighting and saying that, you know, of the people that are close to the kids, no one is speaking out. What a jerk. It's all about making himself look important. It's got nothing to do with Lily and Jack whatsoever. And it's his way of gaslighting Belinda and hoping that people won't notice.
And when people do speak out for the kids, it's just to defend Malaya. And I don't think that's right, because they've never given the viewers any updates on the case or anything on the investigation. It's just, I mean, Malaya Saad just been strictly to defend Malaya at any cost.
So now it's going off about Hayley and Cheryl. Now, yes, Cheryl doesn't seem to have been doing anything other than standing up for Malaya. But Hayley sure as heck hasn't been standing up for Malaya 100%. When I listen to what Hayley has to say, it certainly comes across to me that she genuinely cares about Lily and Jack. So, again, he's trying to find a way to have a dig at Malaya. He's trying to find a way to have a dig at Malaya's family. And he seems to have forgotten the fact that he just mentioned that Belinda has been coming out and speaking up for the children for the entire time. Because Belinda hasn't been defending anybody other than Lily and Jack. So by claiming that when people speak out for the kids, they're only doing it to defend Malaya? Paranoid much? Yes, Karen, exactly. Just to defend Malaya at any cost. Sounds like what Janie's doing with Daniel. Spot on. The difference is Cindy's really not doing much to defend Malaya. Cindy's not doing much of anything, but she's certainly not pushing any sort of narratives for Malaya like Janie is. Cheryl put updates in your Facebook group. Okay. I'm only going on by what I've heard online. If you don't get new plates, you get a sticker with the year on it to put on your plate. We don't even have stickers anymore. So when we update our registration, it's just kind of recorded online. So you wouldn't know, you couldn't walk past a vehicle and say, oh, that registration runs out in July. Because we don't even have like stickers anymore that show the month that it runs out. You basically, you get your renewal, you renew it online, and if they pull you over, they just check it online. Okay. Yeah, Malaya definitely, I think, learnt turtling early on. Seems to have been. Turtling is basically pulling your head in the shell and, you know, avoiding dealing with it. Good to see you here, Clapping Seal. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's just bitter about it. I think he had her so isolated that I don't think he believed that she was going to leave at any point. Oh, I know. See, the thing that does my head in here with our registrations is that they send you the renewal so early. So I usually jump in and pay it as soon as the renewal comes. And then a few months down the track, I start panicking because I think, oh crap, my vehicle rego's due and I've got to pay it. And why haven't I had a notification? And I go online and check and I'm like, oh, it's because I paid it 6 weeks ago. So yeah, the rego stickers were so much easier. Daniel, every time he opens his mouth, he makes it worse. And the thing is, at first when he came out, he was working hard to gaslight Malaya. And he did get people convinced there for a while. So many people were pissed with me for calling Daniel out in the early days because they're like, look at Malaya, don't look at Daniel, look at Malaya. She's the one who left. She's the one who's gone into hiding. She's guilty because she left and she's in hiding. She's not the one who's coming out and speaking on behalf of the children. So many people bought that. But what he's done is that he's got so confident that he just keeps coming out. He's continued to try and gaslight Malaya. And what he's done is he's given us concrete evidence of their relationship. He's given us concrete evidence of why Malaya went to ground. Oh yeah, Malaya does definitely look worse for not speaking. I agree with you completely. I think, though, in the early days, I think she was probably afraid. And when you hear Daniel make comments like, if Malaya speaks, I'm going to weaponize her words, I think he trained her. He trained her to not speak out against him. Because when you speak out against narcissists, they twist your words. And I think that's probably part of the reason why she hasn't spoken out. Now, if it was me personally, I'd be like, F that, I'm just going to come out and I'm going to speak out for my children. I think if you truly believed your children were missing, nothing would stop you from coming out and speaking. But if coming out and speaking is going to incriminate someone, and by extension, incriminate you, and you know that by coming out and speaking and incriminating someone that they are going to twist it back on you, then that's when you stay quiet. So to me, I know that's a kind of confusing way of saying it, but to me, the fact that she has stayed quiet is because there is something to be twisted. If the children had just gone missing, there's nothing to be twisted. There's no reason to fear coming out and speaking because Daniel would have no reason to twist her words. There's a lot of complex psychology in it, but at the end of the day, Malaya's silence shows that there's guilt in this on both sides. Because if it was all just an innocent abduction, there's no reason whatsoever to be concerned about coming and speaking out. Because she knows. That's what it comes down to. She knows what happened to her children. She knows that speaking out is going to be twisted back on her, especially because she was part of the original cover-up. So, you know, it makes both of them look guilty. I understand why she stayed silent, but understanding why she stayed silent also shows us that it definitely is a criminal case. Oh yeah, every single person that was on that property looks bad. You can't look at it any other way. Well, she did lawyer up pretty quickly, and her lawyer probably did tell her to be quiet. But if you genuinely believed your children were missing, no lawyer would tell you to shut up. Because a lawyer telling you to shut up is about not incriminating yourself. And look, I think down the track, hopefully she will explain. But definitely, if she truly believed that it was just some sort of abduction or that they had gone missing somehow and she didn't know what had happened, she wouldn't need to be afraid of speaking out, because she wouldn't need to be afraid of Daniel twisting her words. It's quite likely, Karen. The more we dig into the psychology behind this, when you add in her native status, there's a lot of things that her lawyer will use. That is definitely something to keep in mind. But that proves guilt. If the children were just missing, there's no need to make those threats. There's no need for her to stay silent. Anyway, a bit more of this.
So I want to ask you, actually, on the day of the vigil, I was so disgusted that literally, besides Belinda, a couple of constable, and then that one, not the mayor guy, but whatever he is, and this little girl, nobody else came up to the mic to speak.
That was truly a moment that was really sad to see. I do agree with you on that. Everyone had their chance. Everybody knew a year was coming, right?
Yeah, they did, Daniel, didn't they? Now, you claim that you couldn't go because RCMP would have to put on a security for you. because you're so important. But you didn't think to ask any family members, like, hey, look, I don't think it's right for me to go there, but maybe you could go there on behalf of our family just to show your support? Because not one single member from Daniel's family went. And can we just acknowledge that I don't think people are going to mess with Daniel if Logan is beside him? Because I very much get the impression that Logan would knock someone flat if they were to try and go at Daniel. I might be wrong. Oh, exactly. He really is so condescending. And, you know, he has this excuse of, oh, well, you know, I couldn't go because of security. And now he's going at everyone else. What he means by this, it's not aimed at everyone as he's suggesting. He's pissed because Malaya didn't go. He is using this as another reason to go at Malaya. Admittedly, I think that if Malaya is so keen to come out in public for her children, she should have been at this as well. But that's who he's aiming it at. As for the lack of public participation, at the end of the day, sad as it is, this is what happens with these cases. The public aren't getting the exposure to this case that they were early on because the media is not covering it all that much. We see it on a daily basis, pretty much. But for your average person who doesn't follow YouTube, who isn't on social media, like who isn't following the Facebook groups, they don't see this case on the daily basis anymore. So, you know, that you can't expect there's going to be hundreds of people there. It's sad, but it's the truth of it. Oh, hello. Do you need to go out? Can you give me an answer? Which way do you want to go? Do you want to bed or out? Honestly, indecisive blonde dogs. And that's the thing. If he turned up, nobody would even... He might get a few glares from people. He was scared of Shannon and Cheryl, in my opinion, and Cindy. It wasn't about, oh, I'm worried about security. He was worried about being in the same location as the people connected to Malaya. Yeah. It's a shame there isn't some way of getting media attention again. Because that's what it needs. So true. He started running his mouth and it ran ahead of him. I actually think they probably got a lot on him. I think we are going to see this case resolved. We're going to see arrests. And I think of people who've been so cocky online about it, about the gaslighting, about all that sort of stuff, are going to be wishing they'd been a bit more quiet. He wasn't just helping with that one. He actually organised that particular one, didn't he? From the way Belinda was saying it, my impression was that he was the one that organised that one. And no, that's not how it works. Sometimes when you have a complex case like this where there's no bodies, then you have to really shore up the investigation, and it can take some time. I've seen cases where it's taken 2 or 3 years for the people that everyone was staring at to get a conviction. So I'm not too worried. If we were looking at this in another 2 years' time, if we were like 3 years down the road and still no movement, then I'd start to worry. But in terms of investigations, this is not too alarming. Yeah, I get bad vibes off both of them. Anyway, I'll try and be nice, so I'll move on.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew, like when they were going there that day, that it wasn't going to be easy for the people that were willing to talk, and I just wanted to see, after the year, I wanted to see people actually, take the time to actually say something, and they've all failed to do so. Cheryl had a chance. Haley should have said something. I mean, Cindy, you could have had Malaya's father.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone that knew the kids had a chance to speak, and they didn't do so.
Not everyone. Again, Belinda spoke. Now, in terms of Cheryl not speaking or Cindy not speaking, yeah, it's a shame that they didn't. It's interesting that you're getting one side claiming that they didn't know beforehand, and another side claiming that everyone was invited to speak. I do kind of agree that, Cheryl was quite happy to speak with media on various occasions. Haley wasn't there, and I suspect that Haley probably is on the outs with Cheryl on that. I think Haley probably wasn't comfortable going there. It is disappointing to me that Cindy, who is their grandmother, managed to attend but couldn't speak in front of people. But then I don't know, maybe she has serious anxiety issues, because it would be really scary to stand up in front of a crowd of people and speak. But yeah, no one from Malaya's side spoke. But Daniel's jumping on this to deflect from the fact that he wasn't there, that nobody from his family was there. If it was so important for him to have someone there speaking for Lily and Jack, if it was so important for him to have people attend that vigil, that whatever it was, well, he's got a fucking huge family. How about convincing Janie to go? Convincing Logan to go? Ron, who cried, apparently, when the children went missing. So for him to be going at Malaya's family is really rich. Well, thank you. That was a hard one to put together. I tend to over-research. You know, if I was writing a thesis, I'd have no problems. But when it comes to trying to figure out how to put something forward just in a video, trying to figure out what the key points are, it's difficult. And I wasn't sure at the end of it that I had actually covered it adequately. So thank you for the feedback. I do hope people will check that video out, because it's an important one to look at. This is a video I put out last night, basically looking at the effects of trauma on relationships, on coercive control, even looking at the effects of trauma with victims like Maddie. It's a complex thing to look at, and you know, I'm sure that John Mathias could do a way better job, but it was something that I did want to touch on and try and at least give a bit of understanding for people.
And
Yeah.
it was truly sad.
Why do you think that Cindy now has done a couple interviews where you look at her hands, but she's talking a little bit? Malaya joins this search. Like, why now? Why not the whole time?
I don't know. I really don't have an answer for that. And it's, you know, taken, you know, 9, 10, 11, 12 months to even, you know, do anything. Like, they should have been doing that since day one. Every news organization, every news outlet, they're all happy to interview you or give you the time of day so you can put your message across.
Okay, on one hand, yes, he's got a point. But on the other hand, we know he's doing this to gaslight them. Anything that they do, he's going to gaslight. In terms of the Canadian justice system, it would be really interesting to do a comparison, because the Australian justice system falls far from the mark too. Some of the cases I've covered in the last 12 months, like Australian cases, just are so disappointing. The Biddy Porter case that I've just recently covered, 14-year-old girl kills a 10-year-old girl, and the 14-year-old girl clearly showed intent. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she had done. and yet she was declared not criminally responsible because of mental health issues. And 4 years down the track, she was being let out on day release with a view to allowing her, like, you know, at some point in the near future, allowing her like permanent release. And honestly, when you look at the case, that girl was a psychopath. She should be locked up for life. You look at this, there's a case in Victoria at the moment, the Ida Bell case. She was killed and put in a wheelie bin. And the men responsible for that, it looks like they are going to get away with it. It looks like their charges are just going to go away. I think there needs to be a closer look at criminal justice systems. Good to see you in here, Summer Breeze. I know a lot of Americans complain about the American justice system, but I actually think that Australia and possibly Canada, I don't know enough, but I'm starting to think it's a lot like Australia, could actually learn a lot from looking at the American system. Yep. The parents of Biddy Porter have gone through the most unimaginable trauma, and they've gone through that alone for the first 4 years because the Supreme Court in New South Wales decided to protect the offender. And because the offender is, and come at me all you like, New South Wales, because the offender is the cousin of the 10-year-old girl that she killed, the Supreme Court decided that they needed to keep Biddy's identity hidden as well. Because if they didn't hide Biddy's identity, they would not be protecting the 14-year-old because people would be able to make the connection with the 14-year-old. So, oh, is Summer in the vertical? Oh yeah, you are too. You're in the vertical one, Summer. Damn, I should have been organised and got a link for you into the horizontal. So these two parents couldn't talk about their daughter's case for 4 years because they were silenced. They weren't allowed to even mention her name. I think when justice systems do that to victims, it's a failure. It is a huge failure. And it makes me embarrassed and ashamed to say that I'm Australian when I hear things like that. Because that is not... Thank you, Women's Warrior. I don't know how the gems work, but thank you for that. We've got too much about protecting the offenders and we've forgotten the victims. Yes, but, you know, I'm sure you don't need to be in prison either, Amy. Oh, dear. Classic.
And I just don't understand why.
Well,
And
go ahead.
I've noticed that they started to speak out more after I stopped talking, because it got to a point where just no one believed me, and it was just full on attacks against me because I was the only vector of attack, because I was the only one who ever spoke out, right?
I mean, true.
And here we go with the $5 words. I was the only vector of attack. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but he thinks he sounds like a freaking genius throwing these words in. But he just sounds like a complete utter twat. Like, seriously, I mean, does he not even listen to himself? Yeah, vector. He's the only vector of attack. So I swear he's thought about what was possibly going to be asked him, or he's gone over what he said to Charmaine, and he's gone looking for fancy words in the thesaurus that he doesn't really understand. But seriously, he's like, oh, I noticed they started speaking out after I stopped talking. Exactly. I'm trying so hard not to laugh at him right now. It's that classic situation of someone who is trying so hard to sound like they are smarter than they are, and they throw in dumbass words like that, which just prove that they're really not. And I apologise to anyone from the UK, because I believe that twat is actually quite offensive, but I just love it. It's one of my favourite insults. He truly is a twat, though. Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah, probably a chat GPT. He's probably been listening to the channel that gets all their information off chat GPT and then gets it all wrong. Oh, God. You got to laugh at him, honestly. Yep. It's a vector, not a victor. I guess that wouldn't even work if you were in New Zealand, I don't think. Yep. Yep. That's for sure. Marvels at movie quotes and speedy ATVs. Yep, that's for sure. Oh, thank you. Yes, I would be very much interested in. I barely scratched the surface. And I did feel like it was hard to explain a lot of what I put into that video, especially because when you go hunting for videos that help explain, they don't seem to cover things in the right way, in the right context. Oh. Well, he probably does follow Andrew Tate then. Was that you that suggested originally that you thought that he was probably following Andrew Tate? Because it really is sounding that way. True. He's like, you know, are you going to ask me this question? This is where I'll throw in this answer that I've already prepared. If you're not Australian, you don't get it. That's got to be one of the best Australian ads ever. Gio. Welcome in, Sam. certainly does sound like it. No, we like most Kiwis. For the most part, there's one or two that, you know, can stay over that side of the water. But, you know, we tend to adopt them. We adopted Sam Neill. We adopted Rebecca Gibney. There's quite a few Kiwis that we adopt. As for fruit, we do like kiwi fruit, but not the people and not the birds. I don't know if they call themselves Kiwis, but we do. So in Australia, you're rarely going to hear us refer to New Zealanders as New Zealanders. We just call them Kiwis. So hence the amusement at being asked if we eat kiwi. Anyway, I should start putting one or two of those no, he's Scottish, I think. Yeah, possibly. Not a Kiwi. Definitely not a Kiwi, though. I mean, the standouts for me are Sam Neill and Rebecca Gibney, but I know there's a few other big ones that I'm forgetting. And probably if you're not Australian, you don't know who Rebecca Gibney is, but one of our biggest Australian actresses who's actually a Kiwi. Oh, I love kiwi fruit. I love fajawas. But you can't, it's really hard to get fajawas here in Australia. A lot of people in Australia don't even know what fajawas are. I got my sister to put in a fajawa tree several years back and it's just done nothing. But anyway, moving on. You're allergic to kiwis. Some people are.
That's just how it went. As soon as I stopped talking, everybody's, you know, started to do something, but it was never anything meaningful or large. Everyone could have, you know, did CBC national interviews where they had a long form interview, and I don't know what to tell you, Sonny.
Again, a little bit of gaslighting there. Rebecca Gibney hosts Millionaire Hot Seat. I guess if you got to work, you got to work. Bit of gaslighting. Everyone, as soon as I stopped talking, everyone started to do something, but it was never anything meaningful or large. Again, nobody does it as good as Daniel. Honestly, it's always comes back to Daniel. Like, you know, it was never anything meaningful or large, meaning, yeah, it what they did, it's just totally insignificant, nothing worthwhile for the case. Oh, yeah, you can spot it a mile away. Totally.
At this point, it's just,
Well,
it's sad.
but do you kind of see that from our point of view about how little bits of information and inconsistencies, and yet all you want to do is just be able to talk with the person properly so that things don't get misconstrued?
Sunny tried. She really did try here to call him out, but she was trying to be nice at the same time. And I think it kind of just didn't quite hit as hard as she would have liked. But, you know, this is at the beginning of the conversation, so she didn't want to scare him off. But honestly, yeah, old Daniel's always the victim. Poor him. Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's got his script that he's got to do these bits of his script, so he's got to fit them in somewhere. Yeah, this is Sunny's live stream. I will do a ticker for the next live stream that I do, because I realised when I started that I hadn't put a ticker on for Sunny's channel. But this is from It's a Crime and Shame. This is Sunny doing the conversation with Daniel, and this is the edited version where I went through and pulled out all the additional commentary, so that we're basically just listening to what Daniel's discussing. Yeah, I was really sad to hear that Sam Neill passed away. There's some actors and actresses that are, you know, been around forever that you kind of just think they're going to live forever, which sadly doesn't happen. There was another one Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Daniel's, I can't think of his name. I was actually really sad when I saw that he passed away as well. Oh, exactly. And I think she did a live stream afterwards, didn't she, where she pulled it apart and discussed it. I mean, Sunny's goal here was to keep him talking. So she's trying to call him out without scaring him off. Yeah, I thought Giles was one of my favorites in Buffy. Cool. I'm just reading comments at the moment. I'll keep going.
Yeah, I understand that, Sunny, but my perspective's so much different, and I've never been thrust into a situation that's like this, right? And I don't have role models that, you know, I can, you know, learn from, or I don't have anyone that, you know, I can talk with. So this whole situation and the perspective I have is very unique compared to most people.
Very unique compared to most people. Aside from all the other parents or partners of parents of children who went missing, there's nothing unique about you, Daniel. And as for role models, can I suggest Ian Huntley? Can I suggest the Wests? Can I suggest Gervais' parents? There's a few for you that you can emulate. Oh, right, you're already doing that. I mean, really. Seriously. Yeah. I covered that at the beginning of the live stream, and I'm just so desperately hoping for some good news. I'm just so desperately hoping that someone finds him really soon. You know, the weather's been hot. He's on his own. Yeah. Oh, Daniel truly is unique. So unique. A lot of criminals, after being found guilty, talk about role models or lack thereof. So true. So true. Again, there seems to be like a playbook that they all go to. What can we say that's going to make us look like a good person? He's just oblivious, totally oblivious. Oh, good to see you in here, BTTV. Daniel's unique. Or as we would say, Daniel's special. Yeah, he probably is too. And he'll have a photo of him hugging Pikachu on the front cover. Sorry, I need to try and be nice again.
And just the case in general is it's very unique, and like I didn't know how to conduct myself in a way where it was congruent with how helping the public. And I have this.
I'm trying so hard not to laugh at him and his bloody $5 words. Now we've got congruent. Oh dear, honestly. He really is. He's special. So what did he say back with the congruent thing? He's trying to conduct himself in a way where it's congruent with helping the public. Oh my God, like seriously. Are we still alive? Yes, we're still alive. Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, it's him and his thesaurus words. You know, I think you guys are right, and that he has written a script beforehand, and then as soon as he gets a question that's close to an answer that he's prepared, he runs with it. Oh, he is a wordsmith. Yep. We are, well, that's definitely at least 2 $5 words already. Son a winner. Oh dear. Yeah, possibly not. I mean, Pikachu's mainly aimed at young children and teenagers. Yeah, no, me either. I don't want him helping me in any way whatsoever. Oh, it's just he's thoroughly mathing here. I swear. He's mathing completely. And again, I mean, what he's jumping on here in saying the case in general, it's very unique. He's jumping on what a lot of the analysts have said in terms of it's unique because 2 children have gone missing at once. But what he doesn't realize is that when they're saying it's unique because 2 children have gone missing at once, welcome in, Fred, good to see you here, is that they're referring to the fact that it's got to be a criminal case. Oh, look, yeah, no, I do need to be. I was having a dig at Daniel, and it was probably a little bit unfair my niece is in her mid-20s, and I still buy her the occasional Pokemon gift because she loves Pikachu. There's a lot of people. I'm not bothering this year, and I don't think I did last year, but I used to do stalls with my art and stuff at the Bendigo version of Comic-Con every year. And a lot of the people that were there and, you know, getting into the Pokemon stuff were adults. So I'm certainly not having a dig at people who are into Pokemon and Pikachu. But in terms of terminology and wording, that is directed at children and teenagers. Oh, I should. We do need some bingo cards for Daniel. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Oh dear, it's just too funny sometimes.
Stuff from CPS, and you know, dealing with lawyers and therapists and psychiatrists and counseling and so many unique things coming at once, and trying to work. And then I was on stress leave, and then it was
Okay, sorry. I think I'll probably need to play some music or something to just get my brain back in gear. But the way Sunny just did the you could tell she's just like, here we go again with the Daniel making it about Daniel. I hadn't actually heard of that until about 12 months ago, and it is truly disturbing. It really is. Yeah, just that the way she did it, honestly, it just tells you everything. I could almost hear Sunny's thoughts right there. But he has turned it back onto him. It's suddenly all about Daniel again. Suddenly we're hearing about, he's gone from it being a unique case to suddenly lawyers and therapists and psychiatrists and stress leave from 1 day a week. At a timber mill. Now, admittedly, if you are stressed, you probably don't want to be working in a job where there is a high risk of you, like, maybe sticking your fingers in a fan and injuring yourself. But 1 day a week, can you get it together for that? Oh dear. He is special.
a very, unique situation that I have no control over. Because most people are used to their day-to-day lives where they have control over their lives, right?
And tonight's drinking game is unique. Every time he's stuck on that word at the moment. Because in his mind, that makes him special. If he can say the case is unique. You know you're special when your therapist needs medication. So true. Yep. Oh, and good to see you in here, Grover. Daniel is intent on enjoying an early retirement. Exactly. No, I think he's dumbass enough to do it himself. I can totally see him being dumbass enough to do it himself. Thank you. I can't access my emails while I'm on live, but I will definitely grab that. Yes. Oh dear, he's one of a kind.
And to be thrust into the position where I lost all control over my life. I mean, death threats started rolling in. I couldn't live a normal life, and I still can't live a normal life.
I did a video on that quite some time back, and there was some pushback from some people who don't really understand what leakage is. But when you look at choice of words, sometimes the brain does interfere. Sorry, that was my brain not interacting, not interfering. Sometimes the brain just blurts out truths. And that's what leakage is. When you are trying to say something and it comes out differently to how you are going to say it. So I do believe that when he says that he lost all control, I believe that's leakage. And I know there are people who are like, well, that's not the full sentence. But you get the pause as well before he finishes the sentence. So he's saying to be thrust into the position where and then he's like, I lost all control. And then you get a pause over my life. And then especially with throwing the in afterwards, he's scrabbling to fix what he said. Oh, you're right. The squirrels are well and truly loose today. 100% loose. Oh, totally. But to me, that definitely sounds like leakage. I cannot see it any other way.
And people just don't know what that's like, and it plays a tremendous role on your mental health and your well-being in general. Just the amount of stress that I had to endure, and going on my phone and just having thousands of messages where it's just you're a child killer, you're a serial killer, you're this and you're that, and having that every day. But I always left my messages open because there was supporters that knew what kind of felt like what I was going through, had a different perspective than the mass public did.
Oh dear. Poor Daniel. I will say that it does seem a bit much to be calling him a serial killer. But personally, I don't believe in people harassing people regardless when there's no conviction, no proof of things. But he's basically playing the victim again. Poor me, woe is me. Well, you could make it all go away really easily, Daniel. Yep. Thanks, BTTB. And then I've got to leave my messages open because there's always supporters that, you know, that they know the real me, not what the mass public know. Yeah, like your handful of family members, Daniel? Or is that your many, many sock accounts that are supporting you? You know, he really does play the victim so much. So much. Anyway, I'll just play a little bit more of this. Yes, exactly, Bonza.
And they've supported me from the start, and I still talk to some of these individuals, and they've done nothing but support me the whole way through. But when it comes back to, I just didn't know how to deal with the situation. It was a lot. Not having my children, not having Lily and Jack, having my family ripped apart. I never did anything, Sonny.
Well,
Not knowing how to deal with the situation. You would expect, given that we are talking about 2 missing children, that would move on to how do you get through every day trying to get your head around that these children are missing and wondering what happened. But no, it's nothing about him not knowing how to negotiate the concerns of Lily and Jack being missing and not being found. It's about him not having access to his kids. And he throws Lily and Jack in there because he knows he has to. And his family's ripped apart. Whoops. Yeah. Not having his children. Remember, before Lily and Jack went missing, we have that in the documents. He was essentially about to try and get custody of his other 2 children. So it ruined his plans. But you never hear him. You never hear him focusing on Lily and Jack unless it's for his own purposes, unless it's about Daniel. Yeah, he didn't work. He didn't get out of bed, didn't do anything really. Yeah, apparently Malaya's got a few cats now. So cats are pretty independent. Okay, well, I think he doesn't. He's demonstrated from day one. He's not concerned about Lily and Jack. He's never been concerned about Lily and Jack. He's been concerned about Daniel from day one. It's always been about defending himself. It's always been about convincing the public that he's innocent. He's forgotten it now even to try and make these pleas for Lily and Jack. It's just reading these. Oh, look, he would never, not in a million years, would he have ever gotten custody of his other 2 children. That would have gone nowhere. I don't know why he thought that he could. Especially not with a CPS report in on Lily and Jack. Because that would come into play if he were to try and get custody of his children. You can bet they'd get hold of that CPS report and say, well, hang on, the children that are already living on this property aren't being adequately cared for. Yeah, he rarely mentions them now. Rarely. He's gone full on with his own defense now. Well, that's the thing, you know, that one interview where the reporter was like, and the message is still, and Daniel's like, oh yeah, the message is still, you know, if you know anything, or if you've seen anything, no pleading or anything either, just the, you know, the very flat, if you know anything, if you've seen anything. And he's like, anything, guys? He was performing for the camera again. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up there because the dogs are getting on the move a bit, which means that they're going to want to go outside very, very soon. Clearly, it's warm enough now for them to want to go outside and move away from their heaters. Thank you so much for coming in. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do hit the like button. It helps me immensely, helps me get my videos out there into the algorithm and to get them seen. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. And if you're listening on replay, please do leave a comment. I know some of my recent videos and things, YouTube has turned off comments and I've had to come back in and turn them back on. But I will make sure that I check. So thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.